In the heart of a bustling city stood a grand courthouse, a place that was supposed to be the epitome of justice. Yet, behind its polished marble walls, justice was often twisted to serve the powerful. At the center of this decay was Judge Raman Malhotra, a man once known for his integrity but now infamous for his partiality toward the rich and corrupt. For years, Judge Malhotra presided over cases where money and influence outweighed truth. Corporate tycoons, politicians, and criminals all knew that if they had the right connections or deep enough pockets, they could buy their freedom in his courtroom. His decisions had become predictable. The guilty walked free, and the innocent suffered. One such case involved Vikram Sethi, a wealthy businessman accused of fraud, bribery, and land grabbing. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Bank transactions, recorded conversations, and multiple eyewitness testimonies. But Vikram had something far more powerful than evidence: a direct link to Judge Malhotra. When the case was brought before the court, everyone knew how it would end. Despite airtight proof presented by the prosecution, Judge Malhotra found convenient loopholes, questioned the credibility of witnesses, and ultimately dismissed the charges on technical grounds. The decision was met with shock, but those who had seen his previous rulings were not surprised. In the days following the trial, reports surfaced of large sums of money being deposited into offshore accounts linked to Malhotra's family. Whispers of corruption grew louder, but no one dared to challenge him, until one man decided enough was enough. Among those deeply disturbed by Judge Malhotra's actions was Arvind Sharma, an investigative journalist known for exposing powerful figures. Arvind had been following Malhotra's judicial career for years and had compiled substantial evidence of his consistent bias toward the corrupt elite. Determined to hold him accountable, Arvind, along with a team of legal experts, started digging deeper. He found a pattern. Malhotra's rulings favored criminals with political or financial power, and in many cases, these individuals had direct or indirect business links to his relatives and close friends. Arvind published a damning article detailing Malhotra's corruption, complete with leaked documents, testimonies from legal insiders, and evidence of suspicious financial transactions. The public outcry was massive. Citizens protested outside the courthouse, demanding an inquiry into his rulings. Malhotra, who had always enjoyed impunity, found himself under intense scrutiny. In response, the Judicial Ethics Committee initiated an investigation. Though Malhotra initially dismissed the allegations as media sensationalism, he soon realized the situation was spiraling out of control. The Supreme Court intervened and ordered an internal audit of his past cases. Then came the final blow. An anonymous whistleblower, a clerk from within Malhotra's own court, handed over recordings of secret conversations between the judge and powerful businessmen discussing bribes. The evidence was undeniable. Facing disbarment, public disgrace, and possible criminal prosecution, Malhotra resigned in a last-ditch effort to escape harsher consequences. He thought stepping down would shield him from further damage, but fate had other plans. Malhotra believed that stepping away from the judiciary would allow him to live in quiet luxury, using the wealth he had amassed. But his past decisions had ruined too many lives, and karma was not done with him yet. With his reputation shattered, His former allies abandoned him. The same businessmen and politicians who once benefited from his rulings refused to associate with him. He was no longer useful to them. Just another fallen figure in a system where power moves on quickly. Legal proceedings began against him, and though his wealth allowed him to avoid prison, he was forced to pay massive fines. His assets were frozen, his offshore accounts investigated, and the life of comfort he had envisioned crumbled. But the biggest lesson came in the form of personal humiliation. One day, while walking through a crowded marketplace, Malhotra was recognized by a man he had wronged years ago, a father whose son had been falsely convicted due to a corrupt ruling. The man spat at Malhotra's feet and cursed him. The crowd, now aware of his identity, heckled him, calling him a disgrace. Once a man who commanded respect in a courtroom, he was now a symbol of judicial corruption. Years later, Malhotra lived in near obscurity, cut off from the legal world. The power he had once wielded was long gone, and with it, the illusion of security. He spent his days reading old case files, perhaps haunted by the lives he had destroyed. The lesson he learned? Justice cannot be bought forever. Eventually, truth finds its way.